You're not lazy. You've been trained to hesitate, trained to delay, trained to doubt, trained to wait. Not because you're weak, but because hesitation is profitable. The slower you move, the longer you stay inside the system, and the longer you stay, the more you produce for it. Laziness is a story, a cheap one. It collapses structural manipulation into personal failure. Because if you believe the problem is you, you'll never look at the machinery. You'll punish yourself. You'll optimize yourself. You'll discipline yourself, while the architecture stays untouched. That's not self-improvement. That's compliance. Modern systems don't block movement. They overload choice, infinite options, infinite advice, infinite paths. So your brain stalls, because too many directions produce zero momentum. Action requires certainty. Noise destroys certainty. So you stay in planning mode, research mode, preparation mode, waiting mode. That's not caution. That's engineered hesitation. Every signal you receive trains safety. Play it smart. Don't rush. Be realistic. Wait for the right moment, which sounds intelligent until you realize it produces stagnation. Because no system built on safety creates upward motion, only stability. And stability is perfect for control. The system doesn't punish failure, it amplifies it. One mistake becomes identity. One setback becomes narrative. One loss becomes proof. So your brain starts associating action with threat, not danger, judgment. So you slow down, you double check, you overthink, and hesitation becomes survival. You are taught to stretch timelines. Take your time, be patient. There's no rush, which sounds peaceful until you realize it erases urgency. And urgency is the engine of transformation. So everything becomes someday, not now. Someday destroys trajectories. Because systems don't respond to intention, they respond to force. Look around. Most people are stalled. So stagnation feels normal. Mediocrity feels safe. Slowness feels mature. You absorb the pace of the crowd. You calibrate your ambition to social comfort. And suddenly, not moving feels responsible. That's not balance. That's herd alignment. Over time, something breaks. Not your discipline, your certainty. You stop trusting your instincts. You wait for validation. You outsource decisions. You no longer act. You consult. And consultation is delay in intellectual clothing. So momentum decays, and you call it wisdom. This is why discipline collapses. Because discipline without urgency is psychological torture. You force yourself forward while your nervous system resists. So eventually, resistance wins. Not because you're weak, because your biology refuses to burn fuel without direction. Here it is. People don't lose motivation. They lose permission. Permission to move fast, to act early, to risk embarrassment, to look foolish, to fail publicly. That permission is slowly stripped away until hesitation becomes identity, and identity becomes prison. The people who break out don't become productive. They become dangerous to the system. They move before certainty. They act before permission. They build before approval. And once you see how conditioning works, laziness becomes an insult. Because what you thought was weakness was actually training.